Hey, welcome in everybody. It's Laura from Tenacious Taurus Tarot and Astro Insights. And I've got a message to share with the Twin Flame Collective. What I kept hearing over and over and over again was, you will be rewarded for your efforts. And I kept being shown the Magician with the High Priestess card, almost like a blending, almost like the initiation or the crossing of these spiritual energies becoming one. But there was also this blockage between a divine pair, and that was the Devil card. And so this is where we kind of got to meet the crosses of limitations. Then it was taking me to the Page of Wands with the Two of Cups combined with the Five of Cups. And then I was slowly kind of transitioning into the Six of Swords, Two of Swords. So let's talk about these energies. Please feel free to subscribe, like the video, comment on the video, and share the video, especially if you're resonating with the message. But listen up, Twin Flame Collective, because there is a balancing of these energies. There's a balancing of the receptive yin energy and the active masculine energies. And so the twins kind of come together to activate all of this hidden knowledge. And I do feel there's willpower and there's something being made manifest. What I kept hearing was the great unveiling. And so we're just a couple days away as I'm recording this from the new moon in Scorpio. Tomorrow's going to be Halloween as I'm recording this. And so there is a lot being unveiled as the veil is very thin right now. And so when I think about the Magician and the High Priestess, this is a very complementary pair. It's kind of like the Emperor and the Empress on steroids. And so there is a complementary pair here coming through in the energies, coming into some type of union on a personal and spiritual growth journey. And so I think the lesson is to trust. I feel the lesson is to trust in your inner guidance, all while taking inspired action in the world. And so duality, balance, pillars of divine law, that is what the twin flames came here to represent. And so you're going to need to trust in your intuition when it comes to closing out these cycles. Something about the crescent moon. And so we're kind of at that crescent moon stage, almost at the new moon stage. And so divine feminine, deepen your connection to the subconscious, because I do feel a deeper layer of your psychic abilities is being activated in these energies. Divine masculine, find your willpower to communicate, because there is a need to take action. So the two of these energies can come together with this untapped potential that I feel is waiting to be realized. And so there could be a revelation coming through under the new moon in Scorpio, but I do feel there is going to be a revelation of the presence of certain limiting factors, especially connected to that Devil card. And so there's likely a clear knowing coming through connected to a block or an experience of perhaps even being chained to something unhealthy. So it could be a person, it could be a habit, it could be a substance, it could be a thought pattern. Either way, there's a need to recognize these limitations that are a block from twin flame, twin soul union. And so maybe you're questioning what is serving you, what is not serving my path. And this new moon in Scorpio coming in is all about facing the shadow self and analyzing all of the negative attachments that are a block to this spiritual freeing energy. And so freeing the spirit, freeing the soul, tapping into this limitless potential were all energies that came through. But you do have to face the past losses. You have to face the past disappointments. And you kind of got to go back to the scene of the crime. You got to go back to the scene of the betrayal in order to get to the root cause of separation, sadness, and grief. And so we kind of got to heal the root cause of all of these abandonment issues that keep recycling into our lives. And so we kind of got to reconcile those differences. And so there is like a coming together again, I feel, for the twins in a new positive, loving way. But there's also a need to examine and address these unresolved issues from the past. And so it's kind of like breaking down the walls between you, breaking down the barriers between the counterparts. And there is a need for patience as we go through this transformational process. There is a need to have faith in yourself. There's a need to have faith in the counterpart. There's a need to have faith in the process of healing, because true spiritual healing, getting to the root cause, takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of time. And so you are encouraged to stay present, to stay focused on joy and all of the new forms of joy that are being made manifest in your life, because I do feel we're at the crossroads of both of the counterparts needing to make a very difficult decision. A difficult decision that's going to be necessary for growth, and it's going to be necessary for these positive changes. And so it's not easy. It's not going to be easy. Anything in life that is worth it is usually not easy. But this sacrifice or this difficult decision, it's going to be necessary for the next leg of the twin flame journey. And so there is a new journey that is awaiting the twins, where clarity and hope are going to exist coming forward. And so how can you take initiative to move forward? How can you be willing to listen to one another as well when it comes to taking accountability on both sides? Okay, it's definitely a journey of accountability on both sides. And that allows us to gain perspective, to see each other's points of view. And so we're kind of at the gateway of growth for the twins. We're at the gateway of completing a cycle and the heart of growth. So there's expansion, there's development of our fullest potential. And so what was left unfinished is going to have to be revisited, I feel, under this Scorpio new moon. And so when a cycle has kind of run its course, it does need to be brought to a conclusion. So I feel before we can have that true, intimate relationship with the counterpart, we do have to handle all of our unresolved patterns. We have to handle all of our unresolved behaviors, negative behaviors that can date back as far as childhood when it comes to these abandonment issues, these abandonment wounds. And so I feel the message today is an important reminder that we need to commit to what is correct for us. So we're kind of at the gateway of course correction, and it can be very, very difficult to extract ourselves from something that we had once committed to, like an unfortunate marriage, a karmic relationship. And I know how difficult it is to walk away from the karmic, because there is such a deep-seated soul tie connected to a trauma bond. And we got to understand, though, this is what we came here to do, to walk away from these unfortunate commitments. We can't stay uncomfortably comfortable. We can't stay in this state of lack. And that's what these karmic cycles kind of pull us back into, is this state of lack. And so we kind of got to feel and complete the process. And a big message that came through was, do not keep repeating what does not work. That is the definition of insanity. And so I also feel this energy of prolonged indecision. And likely that's been taking place throughout the whole Libra South Node. And we're about to shift into the Pisces North Node. And so we kind of have to be willing to understand that prolonged indecision is actually a form of self-sabotaging behaviors, right? And so we got to be willing to take the risk. We got to be willing to take the risk despite any fears of failure. And so how can you open yourself up to the unknown? Take a risk, jump into the void, because ultimately change is inevitable. Change is the ultimate equation for growth. And so how can you begin to start embracing what actually will have lasting value in your life? Because we are here to use our influence. We're here to use our gifts to raise the collective vibration of the world. And so how can you use these energies, these truths coming to light, to transcend your limitations and to empower yourself? Because I feel there's going to be a great big tower coming in for those choosing to stay stuck in these unfortunate karmic relationship cycles. By that full moon in Taurus, it's going to be aspecting Uranus, and Uranus is all about change and freedom. And so how can you take this new moon in Scorpio energy, look inward, and trust that real transformation is happening in these energies? So let's go a little bit further with the tarot and the oracle, and let's see what other messages need to come through for the twins. I'm going to start off by using my Twin Flame homemade oracle deck, and look at that, karmic partner. Let's cut the deck and let's see what needs to come through. We get karmic partner and we get trust. So the karmic partner, I feel it pushes both of us to grow. We're in a new moon, full moon gateway portal, and I feel those answers are coming. And so you're going to need to trust. You're going to need to trust your intuition. You're going to have faith that these energies are pushing us towards being these pillars of light, I feel. So let's get some of these cards out and let's see what needs to come through for the twin flames today. And so make a choice. There's that card of needing to make a choice. So we got make a choice and we got divine timing. And so we're kind of at that pivot point of needing to make a choice. Divine timing is saying time's up. TikTok, time's up. And so stop giving mixed signals to the universe. Stop giving mixed signals to the energetic frequency that you and your twin are emitting back and forth to one another, because this is all about clearly deciding what it is that you want, because we are co-creating our journey here on the physical planes, and we get warriors of light, forgiveness, and power struggle. And so we are in a major portal, I feel, between the new moon and the full moon of this deep-seated energy clearing. And so overwhelming fear needs to be addressed. Fear is an illusion. How can you use these energies to cleanse your energy field, open up your system, open up to the flow between you and your twin? Because there is a power struggle here, and this conflict is stemming from past life karma, especially connected to the karmic cycles. And so we need to remember we are warriors of light. Forgiveness is the key, because ultimately the twin flame mission is unconditional love. And so how can you maybe take a step back, be the observer, and see the innocence in everyone involved? Because there's doubts that are coming up that need to be released. There's fear coming up that needs to be released in order for the twins to come together and fully open up to love. And so how can you embody that state of wholeness? And so we're in the balancing, right? The balancing of the inner feminine, of the inner masculine energies. And that's when all of these attachments come to light. And then we're going to have to cut these cords with these attachments so we can start anew with love in this new unconditional loving cycle. And so I feel right now we're in this energy of awakening to a lot of this past life karma. And so a lot of the current challenges that we face this lifetime are related to these old wounds. They're related to past life wounds that we have shared together, where we've not been able to come together in a union. And so I kind of feel we're on the precipice of some type of fated meeting coming through. So let's jump in with some more oracle messages. And I felt guided to use the Starseed Oracle deck today. So let's see what else needs to come through with this deck. My light just flickered. And so all paths lead to home on the cut, and Earth School. And so we are learning some major karmic life lessons right now. We're going through an intense period of soul growth. Maybe it's time to take a step back and study, especially with Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. I've been feeling the pull to relearn, restudy, embrace higher learning. And so the inner authority is guiding us back home, right? So trust your intuition, turn that gaze within, because I do feel there's a new energy flow between the twins coming through. So let's get a few of these cards out and let's see what else needs to come through for the twins. Look at that. Whale and Orca Elders is the first card out. And this is speaking of sharing your soul song, your soul frequency. And so we all have a frequency of sound, a frequency of energy that we emit. And as the feminine kind of radiates that highest soul frequency, you share your soul song. The masculine kind of has to dive deep down into this truth. Bottom of the deck, baby steps. And so I do feel the masculine is encouraged to take action, to take immediate action, to follow their intuition before it kind of makes sense. Let's see if there's any other messages that need to come through. The Cosmic Heart. And this is speaking of devotion. The Cosmic Heart is saying the energies are potent when it comes to devotion of the path. And we are here to make our life a living prayer. And so bottom of the deck, we get the Karmic Relationship card. Imagine that. And so Orion energy. I know personally my starseed origin comes from Orion. I have Andromedan starseed origins. And so there's a lot of polarity being activated. There's soul growth, there's conflict, and we don't grow unless we're kind of thrust into this conflict. And so these karmic relationship cycles are reaching a completion here. So why don't we read out of the book when it comes to the karmic relationships? And let's see what the universe has to say about that. Okay, and then we're going to jump in with some tarot. So let me find the karmic relationship card. It's on page 84. So I almost feel an energy of like a hanged man coming through. A need to shift perspective here, a need to gain a new outlook. So what relationships do you find the most challenging right now? Because the challenging relationships are here to bring in that new perspective. That's why I felt the hanged man. And so the constellation Orion is thought by many to have been a place of great polarity and eventual unity. And so some believe that many starseeds who were part of this cosmic history are incarnate on Earth here now, and we are playing out karmic relationships from Orion times. Perhaps you are one of them. Polarity causes conflicts, and it highlights separation. However, because of this, conflict can also result in unity and growth. So maybe there's a misunderstanding here that has been between you and your twin, and it's not been resolved. But when we do not open our mind and our heart to see things from a different point of view, then we are going to keep second guessing ourselves. We're going to keep reacting instead of gathering the courage to open up our heart. And so sometimes we have to admit when we were wrong. Sometimes we have to understand that maybe we're just reacting out of our own deep-seated woundings. And maybe this wound is connected to your starseed origin of Orion. But basically, we are all innocent, right? At a certain point in time, we were all innocent children. And children just want to be seen. Children just want to be understood and cherished. And so there's something here about an inner child wound that has made your journey much more difficult and harder to grow through, to grow closer to people. And so, yes, I feel there's an invitation to embrace the conflict here. Understand why you're reacting, understand maybe why you're taking things personally, but ultimately challenges allow us to find a way to grow closer. So we don't grow when we avoid conflict. We don't grow when we avoid challenges. And so how can you soften your heart to see things from a different point of view? How can you soften your heart to see the innocence in everybody involved in this twin flame journey? And so we're kind of here to learn from our similarities, all while seeing the differences. And so I also would like to read the whale orca card, the whale and orca elders, because a lot of the twins have lived here many, many lifetimes, and we are here to share the knowledge that we've gained. And so that's on page 126. I feel a hermit energy coming through with that. And so to gain a lot of wisdom, you do have to kind of spend time in solitude. So 126. This is all about how are you being called to share your unique soul frequency. And so basically when we look into the eyes of the counterpart, it's something that we never forget. It's something that kind of awakens us instantly in our very core, in our very being. And ultimately when you meet the twin, you are changed forever. There's no going back, because this connection is beyond physical. It's beyond all the past woundings. It's beyond this earthly identity. It's beyond the stories and the personalities that you give yourself. And so when you meet your twin, you can see right into their soul, and there's no denying that. And so I do feel there's a call in these new moon energies to surrender to that truth, to surrender to what you know is that deep truth in your soul, and then to embrace the potency of that truth. Because there's a bowing down, I feel, to this truth on behalf of the masculine. And so they got to learn to stretch their heart really wide open. And so the feminine kind of has to hold it all together, awaiting the masculine to leave his fears, to leave his doubts, and to leave all of that past baggage at the door. And so I feel there's a questioning going on now. Maybe the masculine is questioning that he doesn't feel good enough for the divine feminine. But basically, when we give others the privilege of seeing who we authentically are, that is when we can see the same in other beings. And so you got to drop your defenses. You got to drop your hang-ups. You've got to understand that all of us have some personality flaws, and we are all perfectly imperfect. But we have to be willing to reveal our true authentic self in order for that echo to come back to us. And so I do feel something about the chambers of the heart on the masculine being activated, and so they're peeling back all of the layers, and I do feel they might be in a state of suffering as all of this truth is revealed to them. And I do feel it's a painful truth, but out of all the souls that we meet this incarnation, there is no other frequency of that of the counterpart. And so that's what we're here to anchor in. We're anchoring in the frequency of unconditional love, of 5D and above. And so we have a lot more to do here than I think most of the twins actually realize. And so the physical presence of the twins together offers this magnificent magnetic field of energy. And so we are all being called, I feel, under this new moon to wake up to this truth. So let's go a little bit further with the tarot, and we're going to do 9 cards today for the twins, and we're going to see what further messages need to come through under this new moon in Scorpio. So we got the Lovers card, we got the Balance card, so we've got an opposition here. We definitely have an opposition between Gemini and Sagittarius, so something here is not balanced. There is a need to reach some type of successful compromise, and so oppositions are difficult energies to work with. So the Lovers is asking the twins to really open up and embrace true love, because I do feel Archangel Raphael is bringing the twins together, but we do have to make a decision from the heart. And so maybe addictions are skewing somebody's better judgment. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius or a Gemini. Pay attention to those houses in your birth chart, because the house of Sagittarius, there's an imbalance in that housing, I feel. So let's go a little bit deeper. The Lovers is twin soul energy, and so I do feel we got to just take that leap of faith here. This is about devotion of the cosmic heart. So let's dig into it, because the opposite of the Lovers is that Devil card, and there's something here that is kind of a little bit out of balance with the Sagittarius or the Temperance card in reverse. So let's get these cards out and let's see. There's that Hermit card that I felt, the Hermit, the Ace of Cups, the Six of Cups in reversed, the Six of Wands in reversed. The central energy is the Seven of Wands in reversed. And then we get the Two of Swords in reverse. So blocks are being removed. With the Seven of Wands as the central energy, this does feel like a heart chakra activation. I do feel there's a revisiting of childhood wounds, childhood patterns. The Hermit basically is a process of re-identification of self. The Hermit is a process of spending time in meaningful solitude, shining that light on the negative vices, and pouring love into yourself. That Ace of Cups is saying, hey, the commitment to the path really is the commitment to self. The first commitment we need to make is to deepen our relationship to Source, is to awaken our psychic abilities, to gain all of these spiritual insights about the negative patterns that keep us stuck, right? The Six of Cups in reverse is saying breaking away from romanticizing, breaking away from the childhood patterns, healing the inner child. The Six of Wands in reversed is saying, hey, we can't be going after victory at the cost of others. And so there's a need to recognize when we make a poor choice or an unwise choice. There's a need to drop our defenses and be willing to stand up for what it is that we believe in. And the Two of Swords is saying we have to be willing to unblock our heart. We have to be willing to make a decision, because once we see the truth, we can't unsee the truth, and we can't keep pretending that there isn't something wrong. And that Two of Swords is leading us right into this Ten of Cups, the World, which is a successful completion of a cycle that I talked about, and the Queen of Wands in reverse. And so this is what I do want to tell you, Divine Feminine. The karmic partner will push you to grow, Divine Feminine. This is the karmic partner. The karmic partner is a reflection of your shadow self that does need integration. When you release the inner karmic feminine, the masculine will release the karmic partner because the truth will be unveiled. And so with the Queen of Wands reversed as the overall outcome, I feel that karmic ain't going away easy. That karmic is kicking and screaming and throwing a tantrum because that inner child is being triggered when it comes to some type of an abandonment wound. And so ultimately, blocks are removed. We're going towards our happily ever after. But we first have to overcome inertia. We have to overcome the childhood patterns. We have to admit where maybe we've made an unsuccessful choice. We have to go towards people that we can trust, but that also does require an open heart. And so the world is saying successful completion of a karmic cycle. Bottom of the deck, we get that Four of Pentacles in reversed. We get the Balance card in reverse, so that's coming out again. So it's made an appearance twice. So the Temperance in reversed, the Magician in reversed, and then we get this King of Coins with the Lovers. And so I feel the decision has been made. I do feel the decision has been made and the masculine is getting grounded. They're going to have to face a conflict. They're going to have to release a situation that is riddled with drama, a situation that really isn't worth their time. And I do feel the masculine is going through a significant tower in these energies, a significant life change, because they cannot keep focusing on the negative. And that's where they've been, focusing on what didn't turn out, focusing on that awful choice that they made. They chose somebody that lacked integrity. But I feel because that was a mirror for the divine masculine, because they too lacked integrity. And it is all the energy of mirror, mirror, right? And so if the masculine was dealing with somebody that had questionable motives, then the masculine also had questionable motives. And likely it was stemming around money, greed, money. And so this significant tower might be connected to a financial change. When I think of Uranus and Taurus, I think financial changes. But I do feel this tower is breaking apart the false foundation, breaking away from all of the procrastination. And this is a release of an old belief system of the karmic feminine. And so this is also a strong message for you, divine feminine. You have to learn to embrace your independence, embrace your talents, release the control, because if we are not in control, we cannot control another person. There's nothing that can stop you from stepping into the light, from stepping into your brilliance. But I feel you also need to release the inner karmic feminine of power and control. And so let's clarify the Seven of Wands in reversed, because I feel within the next 7 weeks, a choice will need to be made, and there might be a challenge here. So let's clarify that. We get the Emperor in reversed. We get the Four of Swords in reversed. And we get the Knight of Coins in reversed. And so there's a huge fall from grace. The divine masculine is getting a tower, a wake-up call, a heart chakra activation, and they're going to need to rest. They're going to really need to rest, because I feel there's like this mental exhaustion, mental overload, download overload. And I do feel this is like the releasing of a bad decision, right? There's a lack of loyalty. There's a lack of protection. I do feel apprehensive energy, because the masculine doesn't want to restructure. And I do feel there's a need to recognize this lack mentality. And so I feel the masculine is likely spiraling in a lot of negative thought processes. I do feel there's going to be a challenge surrounding money, maybe with the karmic situation, but ultimately the dropping of these defenses is allowing the masculine to resurge these feelings for the divine feminine. And so I do feel within the next 7 weeks, there's going to be an opportunity to bring forward forgiveness on both sides of the situation. There is going to be an exchange. There is going to be the resurgence of this twin soul connection in order for the twins to work together. The twins are here to work together in a creative endeavor. We're here to shine our light into the world, and we will get paid well for our craft. So this is all about building a public reputation, but it might come after a major confession. And so secrets are coming to light. Secrets are coming to light, and I do feel the masculine thought he could just wither away, move away, hide the truth from everybody, but the truth is coming to light, and this could lead to a huge material loss for the divine masculine. I think there's an embarrassing secret coming out because there's been a lack of honesty, but ultimately the truth sets us free. The truth allows us to go towards a new healing path. So we got a lot of energy shifting. We've got Pluto moving into Aquarius. I believe it's November the 19th. So I do feel within the next 7 weeks, there is going to be movement, and we're finally going to see the light at the end of the tunnel after all of these challenging times and all of these positive changes that these challenging times have brought forward. So let's look at this Hermit. So what is the light shining down on? Because the twins are here to be an example for others. So let's clarify the Hermit. It is Virgo energy. The Hermit is all about paying off the karmic debt. This is all about trusting the path of service and the good that you put out there coming back to you. And so I do feel we are paying off that karmic debt. There's a realignment here taking place. And I do feel this is why we go into separation and there is a lack of communication for us to understand the telepathy between the twins. We get the Nine of Swords in reversed on the bottom of the deck. And so I do feel there's unfounded fear about taking action because I feel the masculine deeply fears rejection. But the universe is saying, hey, you got to take action. There is a breakdown of an old belief system here. And the twins coming together, it is not going to compare to traditional relationships. It is above and beyond traditional relationships. And so I kind of feel the masculine knows he's got to go back. He's got to pay off this karmic debt. So what about this Queen of Wands in reverse? Because I do feel there's a very karmic energy struggling to let go here when it comes to the karmic relationship cycles. Yeah, struggling to let go of the divine masculine. And so there is a separation. Two people not on the same page. Maybe at one point in time they were. But I do feel there's going to be a challenge. The masculine has made his decision. He's focused. He's driven. He's taking inspirational action. And he is getting ready to step into that leadership role with the divine feminine. And so I just want to say he's keeping his eye on that prize. And he's using this energy flow to cut free from a toxic entrapment. I do feel the karmic is kicking and screaming and using a temper tantrum as a ways to manipulate and keep the masculine stuck. But that's not going to work anymore because Archangel Michael's kind of coming in and breaking those chains apart. And so there's a very addictive, unhealthy cycle here that the masculine needs to break free from. That's for sure. And I do think it's connected to money. So I feel over the next 2 moon cycles, there's going to be a major wake-up call for the twins. You really need to go within and listen to your intuition. You really need to pay attention to the signs from the divine because there's fear here that needs to be worked through. There's going to be a revelation bringing forward clarity when it comes to a new beginning. And so look at that Page of Pentacles, Ace of Pentacles, Seven of Pentacles, because it's time. It's time. So I don't know if you're closing out a 7 or an 8-year cycle, but the Page of Pentacles is saying it's a clean slate. It's time to embrace new study, new higher study. It's time to get to work together in a union. And I do feel as the twins come together in a union, this could produce a windfall of abundance. It could bring forward a lot of good fortune, but ultimately the twins have an opportunity to build an exciting career path together, sign that new lucrative contract. And I feel, yeah, within about the next 7 weeks, get ready. There's going to be a seed planted. It's going to be rewarded in the future. So release any unnecessary worry. Let's get a closing message. Let's get a closing message from Spirit. Let's see what Spirit has to say. Try a different approach and be aware of people and circumstances that are in your way, serving as a test of your spiritual will. So we're being tested. Will you remain in high vibration? I think we need to ask ourselves that. Will you remain in high vibration amidst all of these challenges? So the closing message is, hey, release these unhealthy situations. There is an unhealthy situation here that is a block to union. So stay in that positive vibration. You will bring more positivity into your life if you rise above the fray. And we are in a portal of purifying our space. So break away from toxic people, break away from toxic situations. Maybe it's a job, maybe it's a family, maybe it's a lover, anything that isn't serving your highest good or the highest good of this union, because we are here to adopt a healthy state of mind. Get ready to free yourself from illusion. Get ready to free yourself from these negative influences. And only then can you become the hermit and really get to know yourself. So if you find yourself depleted, if you find yourself dissatisfied in any areas of your life, this is the moment in time to get real. So these karmic relationships, they're not meant to last. The universe is saying, stop clinging to something that's not meant to last. And you really need to get honest with yourself about what is going on. And that's kind of what I got for a twin flame collective message. If you would like to go further with me, check out the description box down below. I'd love to get you booked in for a personal reading. I now offer private one-on-one astrology mentorships. Don't forget to check out the membership side of the channel. I go live every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time. I'd love to have you join me over there. Good luck, everybody, and I hope to see you all again next time. Thank you.